Okay, so I originally had planned out a whole video about lying for you guys, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about this story that I heard last week, and I decided that instead I'm going to talk about that. And I think that what I have to say will be useful to you. So last week I heard a story about this guy who, has 3 kids, a wife, and he lost his job and he was going bankrupt. He had no money, and so he asked these people from an Orthodox religious community that he was living in if they would help him out, help him get a job, help him with money, and every single person said no. And a couple days later, he killed himself and he committed suicide. He left his 3 kids and his wife, and every single person, of course, in the community was shocked, but at the same time, it's like, are you really surprised you didn't help him when he asked you for help? Holy crap! You come from a super religious Orthodox community and not one person helped you, not one person said like, hey, here's a helping hand? I couldn't help but think about the people who consider themselves religious and who consider themselves so devout to God and think that they are holier than you and that they are, just this much more righteous than you. But if you don't help your neighbor that's asking you for help, well then what are you good for? Being religious doesn't make you a good person. Life isn't about, these abstract concepts of this world that we really don't even know if it exists. The world is this is the world, and we need to learn how to live in it and be kind to one another. Last week I was at a Trump rally, and there was these guys who were there, and they were holding up signs with passages from God and whatnot. And they just kept saying, shame on you moms for letting your kids go to Target where, transgender people can go to the bathroom because transgender people are pedophiles. And I'm just looking at them and I'm like, you wouldn't be saying this unless a man-made book told you to do this. And you wouldn't be saying these things unless you had read it somewhere. These kinds of people who think that they're doing something good for humanity by indoctrinating other people and by talking to God and by, teaching people all these things and by doing charity work and whatever it is that they do. But in reality, the only thing that matters is how you treat your neighbor, how you treat your brothers, your sisters. And by brothers and sisters, I mean like human beings. Because at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters. And so it just baffles me. And so when I saw these guys at the protest, I was like, how is this possible? That you could be so bigoted that you can call someone who feels uncomfortable in their body, to say the least, a pedophile. Like, this is why transgender people have the highest suicide rates, because of people that, follow this man-made book that tells you what to do and how to be a good person, when in reality, the only way to be a good person is in front of us. It's in the people that are next to us, that are calling us, that are talking to us, that are asking for our help, that are, in our lives. And yes, I will tell you that some religious people are actually good people. I know a lot of them. But there's so many bad people who are religious and just think that they are God's gift to the freaking world. Being a good person means that you're kind to people, that are around you. You're kind to the janitors and the security guards in your office building. You're kind to the person who's scanning your items at the grocery store. You're kind to everyone, and you radiate love and you radiate kindness. And it's not just for the people who are deserving of it. It's not just for the CEO of the company. It's not just for your boss. It's not just for your mom and dad. It's for all of the little people in the world. And if you think you're a kind person because you're kind to God, or because you're kind to the big people in the world, I hate to break it to you, but you're not. You're not a good person. You're a good person if you're kind to the people who need it. And this is like the only way that we can actually change the world, is by being kind to everyone and not just certain people. And I guess the point that I'm trying to make with this whole rant that you just listened to, which thank you very much for doing, is that the world would be just such a much better place if we can decide what's good and what's not good, and decide what is a good person and what's a bad person by what we feel in our hearts and what we see in the eyes of other people, what we can empathize with, what we can feel and experience as we are there for other people who frankly need us. Instead of listening to a man-made book or rules or society or your parents or school, or I don't know, like things like that, instead of doing the things that these institutions are telling us to do, I think it's important to look inside ourselves and see what it is that makes us good people. I think the world would be a much better place. And I think our world would be way cooler and way more awesome.